Hey everyone, Token Dave over here, the dorky token black guy who's just trying to get by. Welcome to another edition of the Token 10, my top 10 list for a particular subject matter. One of the favorite shows that I like to watch on YouTube is Deathbattle. For those that don't know, Deathbattle is a show that puts two fictional characters up against one another to see who would win in a fight to the death. Last year and this year, I actually planned to talk about two particular death battles. Last year I tried to talk about the upcoming Ryu from Street Fighter versus Jin Kazama from Tekken, and I plan to do my 5 favorite death battles for the last season before the first death battle of the year came out. So next week, Death Battle is doing a battle royale of all the Megamans, and I'm figuring before that comes out, I should actually finally do one video that I want to do. I want to talk about Megaman. See, Megaman is my favorite video game franchise of all time, and as a fan of the games, I figured I should share what are my favorite Mega Man games. Now, I have not played every Mega Man game due to the fact that I stopped gaming a while ago and more games came out. So what I'm going to do is cheat a little and just talk about the Mega Man games from the original series and the Mega Man X series. So here are my 10 favorite Mega Man and Mega Man X games. Number 10, Mega Man 5. This was the last Mega Man game in the original series that I was excited about. Just on the fact that it was Mega Man and there was a 5th game coming out, you had me. And this was actually the easiest Mega Man game that I ever played and I ever beat, And it was kind of nice to see that, first he was known as Breakman, but then he became known as Proto Man. Kind of nice to see him have more of an active role in the game. But the reason why Mega Man 5 is number 10 is because it was clear at this point that they were running out of ideas. It was pretty much almost a rehash of the original game, just, added a couple of things from the previous games in this game, as well as, it wasn't really Breakman, it was Dr. Wily behind everything, a trope that they introduced in the previous game. While fun and a lot easier to beat, the Robot Masters were pretty much carbon copies of the original game, and, after beating it, I only replayed it once, and that was it. So that's why Mega Man 5, while it's enjoyable, it's at the bottom of the list. Number 9, the original Mega Man. Before all of y'all bitch at me, let me explain. Mega Man basically combined the elements of the platformer and the adventure games at the time. How did they do this? Well, they introduced 6 stages, that you could choose from, and you could actually do them in different orders. Platformers were very linear. You had to choose one path to go through at the time. Mega Man changed that. And to top it off, you didn't really know who was the final person that you had to beat until you actually got there. Well, actually, after you beat the 6 robots. And the point system was pretty impressive. So this groundbreaking game, is number 9 for what reason? Primarily because all of the sequels greatly improved on this. It's a testament to how good the original game was. And also, I'll be honest, this was not the first Mega Man game that I played. I actually ended up playing this 4 years after the original came out. So, yeah. Number 8, Mega Man X5. Wow! Talk about a downgrade from one of the best games ever made. Mega Man X5 tried to capitalize off the most previous game, and, it just wasn't as good. Now, I'll give them this. The story of Mega Man X5 was pretty epic and pretty amazing, and the mid-battle, the mid-climactic thing where, you had to try to destroy a satellite, that was fairly impressive. I'll give them that. Plus, it's also awesome that all the 8 Robot Masters were named off of Guns N' Roses characters. So, yeah. But that out the way, it felt like a pretty much of a rush job. Some of the characters looked fairly similar to, Mega Man X4 characters. And the final battle was kind of unimpressive, but the story, depending on how you played, was pretty impactful. So while a downgrade in overall quality compared to its predecessor, it's still a decent game, but just doesn't live up to the standard of the most previous game, which is why Mega Man X5 is number 8. Number 7, Mega Man X3. This was the last Mega Man X game that came out on the Super Nintendo, and not the best way to go out. The best thing for me about this game was the fact that you could finally choose Zero for the first time. The problem with that was you could only choose Zero up to a certain point. You could not choose Zero and fight any of the Robot Masters. In fact, you only fought one mid-level boss during the final stages, and Zero got damaged and just came back at the very end, Now, given that the music is okay, it's really hit and miss between being really awesome and just being good. The introduction of, Dr. Doppler was pretty much copying a running theme that was going in the Mega Man games at the time. But with all that said, Mega Man X3 was still an enjoyable game. Not the best way to go out for being the last game on the Super Nintendo, but still much better than Mega Man X5 and Mega Man X6. All right? Number 6, Mega Man 4. In retrospect, this is the game that basically had a shift in the quality, meaning a downgrade in quality of the Mega Man games. Mega Man 4 this is the game that introduced the X-Buster, cool. This was a game that tried to flesh out the story a little more cohesively with Mega Man's origins, but despite that, this game was really a downgrade compared to Mega Man 3. And also, while still a little more challenging, it was easier to beat than Mega Man 3, but it was a little more difficult than Mega Man 4. In addition, this is where we added Roll into the mix, and, Proto Man, had a more inclusive role. Plus, this was the first Mega Man game that tried to do a fake out with giving us a villain as a decoy, trying to make it look like it wasn't Dr. Wily, but it ended up being Dr. Wily. But, all that said, it was still fairly enjoyable and had a lot of replay value, So, and it gave us a couple of new, interesting, Robot Masters. So, this is why Mega Man 4 is number 6. Alright, I'm stopping this right now because it's running too long. So tune in to part 2 where I go into my top 5 of the Mega Man games. What do you guys think of the list so far? Drop me a comment below, give me a like, follow me on Facebook at Token Dave, or on Twitter or Instagram at TokenDave80. Subscribe and ring that bell so you know when a new video loads. But until then, this has been Token Dave, dorky token black guy who's just trying to get by, and I'll see you all next time.